This is Brother Teacher. Uh, I'm trying to find a way to navigate through this brief message, hopefully a brief message uh, about our freedoms and our rights as men and women in America. It may be just across the globe, men and women, rights that are God-given rights. And it's a little challenging. First of all, let me say this. Never have I ever intended to mislead anyone in terms of any information, medical and otherwise, on this particular platform. And as many years as I have been on this platform, I think I have done an exceptional job being careful not to offend intentionally anyone, any individual, any group of people. And I think if I had not done a relatively good job, then I probably would have not been here on this platform as long as I have. I've had very minimal strikes on this platform. And really, what took place a couple months ago was evidence that this platform doesn't belong to me. I acknowledge that. And it doesn't belong to you either. So just be mindful when you're using someone else's venue, someone else's platform, and it's not something that you're paying for, and it's a free social media site, then you have to abide by their rules, by their regulations, even if you disagree with many of those rules and regulations. So it's no different here. But I did a video. Actually, I did a couple videos over the past year since we've been going through this situation in our world as far as the health crisis, so-called, is concerned. You know what I'm talking about. And I had a video removed from the platform. And the reason was that I was... let me see what they actually said the reason was. Giving out medical misinformation. Medical misinformation. Okay, so that means that I'm saying something that goes against the status quo, that goes against the foundational principles of medicine outside of us as individuals. In other words, the medical community's standards. If you say anything that contradicts what their stance is on a particular subject, disease or otherwise, then you could be flagged. Then your information can be removed. And then you can be penalized to the point where you're not able to even speak anymore or upload videos on a particular platform. And I was subtly, indirectly threatened to have that happen to me if it occurred again. What occurred again? If I were to put out some more medical misinformation, especially about this one particular subject that you know I'm talking about. It's the thing that we're dealing with today and have been for about a year or so. Now my thing is, again, and this might be a little redundant, this is not our platform. Now my dear friends, this is a very good example of our freedoms being compromised and being under attack. It is. Now, there are many people that believe that they have freedoms, the freedom of speech and expression and so forth. And we do. Innately, we do. We're born with sovereign rights given to us by the Creator, by God, Yahweh, Allah. We do have those freedoms. However, there are powers that be, there are industries, corporations, governments that benefit from us in varying ways, and they limit us so that they can benefit from us at the same time. Let me see if I can rephrase that. They use us to benefit from us while compromising our very freedoms at the same time. Maybe that was a better way of putting it. So just because we're on social media and we have a free platform afforded to us, but our ability is to express ourselves in an ethical manner, which can benefit our fellow brothers and sisters across the planet, it's limited if it goes against the status quo, if it goes against the principles of other organizations, especially those that host the platform that we are on, those who put the money behind it, even though we are benefiting them greatly. It's like having a bank account. You may have a savings and a checking account in a bank. Banks give you very little to no interest on your accounts that you have with them, but they benefit from us by investing our money in stocks, in the stock market, and through bank fees, through loans and so forth. They benefit exponentially from us 2, 3, 4, 500%, and we get less than 1% on so-called interest-bearing accounts. Do you see the difference? You see the contrast? You see how we are in a sense being used and abused while they capitalize on us. How does the expression go? The rich gets richer and the poor stays poor. Now on these social media platforms, they'll give it to you free. They will allow you the space to express yourself, to sell your wares, and to put yourself out there, but it's not without a cost to you, to us. But we still have to play by the rules. Not that we shouldn't play by some rules, but those rules should be realistic, logical, should be ethical, or morally sound, and it's not always the case. So if I tell you something, for example, that's good for you, I mean, in the true sense of the word good for you, and it's against the narrative of the social media platform that's hosting my information, it can be stricken down if it's not what they want on their platform. And they won't even offer full disclosure or transparency as to why it's not appropriate. They'll just simply say you've broken the rules, or you compromised the platform's policies. That's not appropriate information to be using on this platform. And they don't tell you all of the real specific things when you originally sign up for the platform. Everything is so generalized until you step over that line. Then you get a flag, then you get a warning, then you get dismissed, then they stop or limit the amount of people that can watch your material. They do. You have less views because, you know, it's not in the best interest of them that you notify or express yourself to hundreds of thousands of people or millions of people, telling them certain truths. I hope you get what I'm saying. Those of you that are consciously aware of the world in which you live, and actively consciously aware of the world in which you live, you know where I'm coming from. So, getting back to what I said earlier about my video or videos being taken down from the platform because it was medical misinformation. Why can't it just simply be my viewpoint? Or are you in bed with the medical industry? Whoever told you or anyone else that the medical industry has control over my body, your body, and anyone else's body? Who told you that? Who told you that the medical industry is correct? I went to the hospital a couple months ago, and the medical industry in the emergency room blew a vein in my arm and said, "Oh, we blew it. We made a mistake." And I had a blood bruise in my arm, and I took a picture of it. It was about the size of my hand where I bled out in my arm because they stuck me wrong, and I had to be stuck again and again. But I'm supposed to depend and totally rely on these individuals. Not that they don't have their place, but you're going to tell me that I'm going against the medical industry. But the medical industry has been responsible for accidentally overprescribing medication to customers or patients over the years. I'm still supposed to trust them 100%. And I'm going to use an example. I don't have the video before me or the article before me now, but you can look it up. It may take a little diligent effort on your part, but you can look it up. This some years ago. There was a gentleman in Florida who was a patient, and he went into the hospital and he was supposed to have one of his feet or legs amputated, and the limb, leg or foot, was clearly marked which one was supposed to be cut off. It was the result of or supposed to be the result of, I believe, diabetes or some injury that he had sustained. The leg was clearly marked the one that was supposed to be cut off or amputated. Do you not know that the hospital made a mistake and cut the wrong foot off? Yes, they did. True story. And the trauma of having them make a mistake and cut the wrong limb off, you still had to go back and cut the one off that was supposed to be cut off in the first place. So I'm supposed to trust the industry 100% without question. You say, well, this is a rare incident. This was remote. This was isolated. Everyone is going to run damage control. Now, that's just that one. But let me tell you, I'm a veteran, and my doctors told me over the years that I should have hip surgery, hip replacement. And I'm still walking around. Got a little hobble, but I'm still walking around, still managing. I didn't take the hip surgery, but I have a couple of friends that have had hip surgery. One brother, he said, "Oh yeah, you need to go on and do that." And say, "Look at me," and he's doing okay. So, again, my friend told me that the hip surgery went really well for him. But I've known other individuals that have had hip surgery and it was not successful. So it's not the same across the board because we are all different. Even though fundamentally our physiology is the same, but we're different individuals, different genetic makeups, if you will, you know, body makeups, different medical histories. And I've seen people who have had knee surgery that have had great results from major knee surgery, and I've seen other people who have had knee surgery and it did not turn out so great. Which one of those individuals would be me? The one that's a successful surgery, or the one that didn't come out so well? We don't know. So sort of like Russian roulette. So do you get what I'm saying? So the medical industry is not 100% foul-proof. Doesn't work that way. There's stats, good and bad. So which one would I wind up being? A casualty of war, so to speak, or a success story? We don't know. So myself, personally, I would rather take my chances following the homeopathic and naturopathic route that I've been on, the herbal remedies and so forth, and exercising and continuing to train. And I've never drank, never smoked in my life, never taken drugs, narcotics in my life. Never have. I'd rather take my chances with me. So I get it. I understand where I'm at. It's a matter of choice. So didn't mean to hold you with all of that, but I just was sort of venting in a sense. I got my video taken down because I went against the medical industry's advice for us. You better go ahead and get that thing, you know, because we know better than you about you. If you have 100 people and they all have a cold, even though it might be considered a common cold, but it could affect all 100 people in different ways. It can. If they all had the flu, it could affect all 100 people in different ways. Never exactly the same way from person to person. So how can a medical industry tell me that this is good for me just like it's good for the person next to me? How could they know that? How could they possibly know that? But that was really it. I want you to weigh in on this subject of having your information taken down from the social media platform because it doesn't agree with some medical institution's narrative. And you answer me, is that ethical? Is it right? Now, I digress again, and I say this. It's not my platform. Because you can do as much as you want to, for the most part, when you own the rights to something. But when you're on someone else's platform, in someone else's house, you have to abide by their house rules, as it were. Those of you that know me, I'm sure that you'll weigh in with something of substance behind this video. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you might find yourself on planet Earth. As always, Yahweh loves you, and I love you, and stay close. So long.